Side thing?
Is that a piece of driftwood or a really big scythe? For those of you young people, a scythe is something that cuts hay or grass.
It really is.
What do you got there, Kyle?
It is a piece of driftwood actually, but it looks like a scythe.
It's pretty sharp too. I think it would work. Today I have to take a road trip and I gotta pick out rock for this next project. We're building a recreation pond in a backyard that's only about 20 by 60. Well, it is day 5 on our recreation pond. Normally it wouldn't take us this long to rock a pond this size, but because of the access, starting at one of the yard, working to the other, does take a little bit more time, but we only had 4 days last week and we're only gonna get 4 days this week, so it's only day 5. We better get to work. Let's go. So we got our whole beach area all set. This is going to be an extended beach area over here that's not in water. So what you want to do is we dug out extra deep. We got 18 inches of depth because if anybody digs in there, I want them to have plenty of room because you know the kids are going to be making sandcastles in here. So we got this all prepped and ready. Sand is supposed to show up and it's coming out of New Jersey right from the shore. So we're gonna have white beach sand for this customer and he doesn't even know it. So that's gonna be the fun part. Over in here, we're gonna extend that sand back over in here and then down into this section. So that's all gonna be underwater, but we wanna be able to transition back up because if we didn't, it just would wick so much water and you just have a huge slushy sand bed. So we're gonna have a little in and a lot out. We're going to incorporate some rocks and some other things just to help naturalize it. But check out the size of this pond right there. Right now, I got Jason, Kyle, and Andrew are setting that last wall. And I'm going to go help them, so I better get to work. One of the things we build in a recreation pond, because we know somebody's going to be jumping into it, we want to kind of come up vertical like we have in this area. Right here, we're coming straight up, so when you jump in, you got plenty of room. Right now, this is kind of how we build. We're going to have to come across lower with some rocks, come up to a certain height, whatever height that rock might be. Then we're going to gravel back, and then we're going to set rock on it again. And basically what it's doing is it's creating a very structural type wall where we'll be able to set more rock and then gravel back, more rock and gravel back, just like you would a retaining wall or something. But this is going to be underwater, and we still want to use some rocks that are pretty cool because when they're swimming underneath here, the owner had talked about snorkeling. We want to make sure that he has got plenty to look at when he's down here. One of the other things we do when we're deeper than 3 feet, now any type of a pond is only going to skim to 3 feet, no matter what type of skimmer you got. So what we're going to do is put these jets in the bottom. So we have 1-inch PVC flex that we're going to run up and out, and we're going to run that to like a 2-inch pipe. So we got one here on the bottom on this side, which is going to push obviously back that way. And then right now Andrew's working on getting another one in right in this section. So we'll have 2 at the very bottom at the 4-foot point pushing back towards our skimmer area over here. And then we're going to have 1 or 2 more up on the surface area. All right, so we got as much rock set as we can in this pond. Right now, Kyle and Andrew are starting to tuck edges. So what that means is we have all these rocks to grade right now. So they got to go along and make sure all our folds are in the right direction. Everything comes up to the back side of the rock, and then we can go right back to soil. All through here is going to be like a stepping stone path, so we want to make sure they hide all that liner real well so nobody sees it. And then after the path is in, we can put some creeping plants in there to kind of help soften all those edges up. In the meantime, we are to the point where we have to get all that rock out of there because we're starting to cut our access off now. Jason is moving some of the rock over on that side of the house so I can stage this, because now it's time to start our stream and wetland area, which the stream and wetland is going to be over in this berm area right behind the excavator. So like we have mentioned throughout this project, we have to do everything in stages. So right now the whole pond is pretty much rocked except for on the entrance where the stream is going to come in. We have a really cool rock we want to put in there next, but unfortunately I have to move all this rock, and the owner was going to have the fence company get rid of that fence, but you know what, once I get done with this, they are not going to be able to get in here. And because I have the machine here, I'm just going to thumb everything. We're going to throw it in our truck and haul it out of here for them. Then we'll be able to take some of this excess dirt. Because of the wetland area is going to be all up in here, that's way too much soil because we have to dig down in. So I'll be able to take and soften up the edge of this block. Right there, that's where the new fence is coming in. So we got to make sure that we leave them ample room to be able to install a fence from this side right here all the way over to where that fence is over there. So which doesn't leave us a lot of room. We're going to have about 3 foot in some areas, maybe 4 foot in others, that he'll be able to plant eventually up against that. So we got to get to work because we got a lot of soil to move and a lot of rock. Day 7 today, and we are on to the wetland and stream area. And you know, yesterday was nice and dry, but this is the same saga all summer long, and I'm actually sick of talking about it. But it rained all night, so it's a little squishy, but we're gonna deal with it. We'll be able to motor through. We're gonna start the wetland, and a wetland is actually what I would call the motor of the system, because what it does is it helps clarify all that water. So Jason and I are gonna get digging this. We got at least 3 feet to go down because we wanna make sure we have enough room for all those gradations of gravel. And I'm gonna show you the spot right here. So see, we got a few puddles, but we need the water in the pond, not on the ground. Right, Kyle?
That's right.
Right up in this section, this is where we're going to start digging. So this is going to be our whole wetland area here, and then the waterfall is going to spill back over and go into there. We got our laser set up so we can check all our depths and just make sure everything's right on the money. We got Andrew down there. He is cleaning the pond so we can get ready to start filling this, and Bob and Kyle are starting to fine-tune that beach area. So hopefully no more rain today, because we really need some dry weather. So in the wetland area, we have all this dug out. It's going to be 3 feet deep, and the reason it's so deep is because we got to have the right gradations of gravel. So right now we're at the stage where the whole rectangled area is all level on the bottom, carved out. Now what we're going to do is get over there and get the snorkel and centipede, put it right down the center, dig a trough for that. Then we'll have to pull it back out, put our rock pad down in there, our liner, more underlayment, snorkel centipede, and then all the aqua blocks. So our snorkel and centipede modules are all in. What the centipede modules do is they actually distribute the water evenly when they're coming up and through our wetland. All the slots in here are all exactly the same dimension, and our water is going to come in that far end of the centipede, which is a 3-inch feed. So we're going to put a piece of 3-inch PVC flex off of that, and then it's going to push the water all the way through. Then over top of the centipede modules gets these aqua blocks. So this aqua block is going to go over there, over the top. Then we're going to go with 3 different gradations of gravel in this wetland for a filter. All right, so we got our waterfalls all set just the way we want them, all the rock placement and everything, and now it's time to seal all those areas that we have gravel in so the water runs over the rock rather than down behind it. So we're going to show you how we seal up those drops. All right, so we have got all our waterfall rocks set. One of the things we like to do is really layer things back. So basically what we're doing is, you know, you start with this rock, you start with this rock, and you start with this rock, and then you kind of build up and layer behind it, just like you would see in nature. One of the things with this Missouri moss rock, or weathered limestone, whatever you might want to call it, is it's got all these little nooks and crannies and cracks and crevices and everything else. So what we try to do is, when we're setting those rocks, visualize how maybe it all separated throughout the mountainside. So we're leaving little crevices in here and over here, and these drops down over in here where water can cascade down, just like if it was in nature and water just was running over all this stuff. So a lot of it is creativity, for sure, picking the right rocks and knowing how you want it to look. Like, we want water to be able to come down over here and then come back over here. Plus, there's just this cool crevice. So we're going to have to block up a little bit of that so we get water over both areas. But that's important because we want it to look as natural as possible. This is a very low drop. Then we're going to a higher drop to another drop over here. So creating as much action as possible. And the reason we want to distribute it out too is because the house is in pretty close proximity of where this waterfall is. And we don't want it to be overbearing in sound, but we want it to look really, really cool, I guess, for lack of better words. But you know, we just want it to look natural, and that's what we're always going for. So right now we're at the stage where we are going to start sealing up here. We got to seal up there. We got to seal all these cracks and crevices up on this side, plus all this stuff here. So we got quite a bit of work to do, and it's going to be a few hours to get this done. So we better get at it, and then hopefully the electrician shows up. Can't wait for the electrician to show up so we can run this.
It's just amazing, you know, what it's done for our family, even in such a short time frame, to be honest with you.
That's the biggest thing for us. That's why we love creating these types of environment. And Mark, I want to thank you. Now you're part of the Decker family.
Yeah, awesome.